Infinite supreme peace to all the divine souls. Today's subject: radio waves, spaceships, UFOs, space vehicles, and crop circles. The mystery of the Sri Yantra crop circle. So let's start it. Radio waves. Scientists have claimed many times that mysterious radio waves have come from space or outside our solar system and have penetrated the Earth's surface. Will we ever be able to understand the radio waves or radio signals coming from outer space? In the year 2015, Russian astronomers and collaborators at the Skobelsin Institute of Nuclear Physics of Lomonosov, Moscow State University, detected an interesting radio signal with the Ratan 600 radio telescope as part of search for extraterrestrial intelligence (SETI) survey searching for activity from extraterrestrial civilizations. The signal detected by the radio telescope appeared to originate from HD 164595 star system about 94 light years, 8,89,33,400 km, which is 889,334 billion km away from our planet Earth, in the constellation named Hercules, which is known to have at least one planet. This led to the speculation that the signal may have come from an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization, but later on, any positive evidence about alien life was rigorously denied in the media. Radio waves keep on entering into the Earth's surface, and there have been many instances when the radio signals have been received by scientists. However, science and its sophisticated equipment fail to decode the incoming radio signals received. Space researchers and scientists have not yet understood who sent these radio signals and where did they come from. What do they mean? All these questions are unanswered and remain a mystery only. In our universe, there are trillions and trillions of galaxies and also creations of different dimensions. They have a different language for communication. The subtle world language is telepathic in nature, which is vastly different from that used on Earth. Sadly, even today, humankind has not been able to understand the various radio signals coming from outer space. In order to establish communication with aliens from Earth, if the radio wave signals are sent to a planet that is 2000 light years away, then it will take 2000 years for the radio wave signals to reach the aliens, and if in turn the aliens answer back by sending radio waves, then it will take another 2000 years to reach Earth. In today's scenario, it's a far cry to understand the language that has come from space, as the human race lacks the necessary high technology and scientific advancement needed to decode the radio signals. Human beings have not even been able to understand the higher dimensions of their own solar systems, that there are many locales, dimensions or layers, and the three elemental subtle dimensions have many sub-layers. Okay, next is UFOs, spaceships, space vehicles. The Vaimanic Shastra, an ancient Indian manuscript written in Sanskrit, describes in detail the Vimana Shastra, or the science of aeronautics. It was compiled using old Hindu texts and discusses the science associated with the study, design and construction of aircraft, as well as techniques for operating rocketry within the atmosphere. The existence of the text was revealed in 1952 by G.R. Josier. According to him, it was written by a Pandit Subbarya Shastri, who decoded it in the years 1918 to 1923. According to the Pandit Shastri, the age named Bharadwaja physically gave him the knowledge. The text contains 3000 shlokas distributed in 8 chapters. This Shastra mentions that the aircrafts or the flying chariots described in ancient Hindu scriptures were advanced aerodynamic flying vehicles that were used by gods and goddesses. It describes the time about 4000 BC when there were space travels in UFOs or flying aircrafts at great speeds. One can find several examples of flying chariots and vehicles in the Hindu Puranas and Shastras. For e.g., Garud Vimana used by Lord Vishnu to travel from Vishnupuri to Earth and other dimensions. Swan vehicles Hans Vimana used by Lord Brahma to travel from Brahmapuri to the earth and also to other worlds, and Peacock Vimana used by Lord Shankara's son Bhagwan Kartikeya to travel within the solar system. We also know about the famous Somnath temple built by the moon god Chandradev, Somdev. He had built the Somnath Mandir. As he was an ardent devotee of Lord Shiva, he would travel very often from his abode in the moon to earth, flying in his Viman or vehicle. The demon king Ravana possessed one of the swiftest vehicle, the Pushpak Vimana, made of Vayu Tattva or air element. The Pushpak Vimana would take Ravan wherever he wished to go in an instant, or one can say at the speed of thought. Ravan could travel to one place he wished to within the 3 worlds, and he could reduce or increase the size of the vehicle as per the number of passengers traveling in the Pushpak Viman. Ravan also possessed the power to change the body element of the passengers traveling in his vehicle to the air element. For purpose of effective travel, we will be able to find a lot of such examples in our ancient texts and stories in the Puranas. There have been many instances all over the world where UFOs have been spotted. Human beings cannot see a UFO clearly or directly, since UFO cannot be captured even on the radar signal. This is because a UFO is made of supreme elements and can be viewed only with the help of devices made out of supreme elements. UFOs made of supreme elements have much more power and speed than our vehicle made of physical elements on Earth. One can say that the speed of such sophisticated UFOs is at least billions and trillions of times greater than the vehicles of Earth. An interesting point to note here is, just as the UFO is composed of particular elements, the body of the one who is operating the UFO will contain the same elements as the UFO. If a UFO is composed of 80% of 3 elements or subtle elements, that is air element, fire element and ether element, and 20% of supreme elements, Param Tattva, then the ones who are traveling in the vehicle also would be having the same compositions of elements in their body. 80% of 3 elements, air, fire and ether, and 20% of supreme elements. If an UFO is made of 50% subtle elements and 50% supreme elements, then the speed of the UFO would be far greater than UFO made of 20% supreme elements. This is because Param Tattva or supreme elements give greater speed to the vehicle than the 3 subtle elements. UFOs made out of supreme light, that is Param Prakash, enables extreme high speed greater than the speed of light. Such vehicles get to the destination within the trillionth part of a second. These supreme light vehicles work on the principle of the speed of thought. One powerful sankalp or affirmation would take the soul to its destination within the trillionth part of a second. At such great speed, a soul can travel to another multiverse in an instant. Power in affirmation is proportional to the power of soul. more powerful the soul is, the more powerful the affirmation will be, thus making a soul to travel at a speed of imagination, which is multi-million times the speed of light. Many times UFOs have been spotted flying in our skies at many places in the world. If a UFO flies near the 200-kilometer range above the Earth's surface or stops close by above this range, the effect of the Earth's atmosphere is bound to affect the UFO. Is the spaceship, if made of supreme elements, then the Param Tattvas of that spaceship get converted to the gross air element, and from gross air element it is converted to gross fire element, due to which the spaceship flying in the Earth's atmosphere is visible for some time, and we see a bright and fairy spaceship in the air. But we must know that it is the gross fire element that makes aircraft visible. As soon as the speed of such UFO increases, immediately the gross elements get converted back to the original supreme elements. So the bright spaceship vanishes within an instant in the air. When there is an increase in the gross physical elements on the outer layer of the UFO, then the UFO can be visible to the human eyes, and in that very short time a UFO can be photographed as well as it can be captured on the radar. What is crop circles? Who is the creator of crop circles that have appeared all over the world? Let us explore and try to understand some of these unsolved mysteries. According to an estimate, it has been said that all over the world, in one place or the other, a crop circle had been created. It is a big wonder to us in this modern age that all of a sudden, in any field of any part of the world, a big crop circle with a specific pattern or design can suddenly appear overnight. Till today, no one has been able to determine how and by whom these crop circles of such gigantic size are made. It is a matter of great wonder that no one has ever witnessed the exact moment when a crop circle was being formed. How did the crop circle get created? Who created the form of the Shriyantra or crop circle? Various designs and patterns of crop circles, out of which Shriyantra is one of the many patterns, are formed in perfect and large geometric shapes on earth by souls of subtle world, whom we call aliens or extraterrestrial intelligence, who may have come from distant civilizations into our solar system. The aliens create crop circles with the help of sophisticated subtle instruments and rays that can create a large crop circle within few moments. These crop circles have a specific sign or a clue that investigators study for the complex mathematical formula contained therein. For e.g., in the year 1996, a crop circle named Triple Julia set appeared in Wiltshire, UK. This crop circle was derived from an equation developed by Gaston Julia in the year 1918. The pattern of the Triple Julia crop circle is mathematically very complex and consisted of circles that defined three intertwined fractals. Each pattern in a crop circle represents a whole wealth of information in itself. These complex patterns of crop circles are created by the extraterrestrials who wish to deliver a message to the humans living on the earth or to other extraterrestrial beings. Whenever a human being or an alien would view the intricately developed crop circles, then a message would pass into their subconscious mind and all the relevant data would be downloaded accordingly through these large geometric patterns of crop circles. It is to be noted that through these crop circles, the aliens would like to inform or send a message to the human beings about the upcoming future world. The mystery of the Sri Yantra crop circle. The Sri Yantra sacred instrument or Sri Chakra sacred wheel is a yantra, mystical diagram or geometry formed by 9 interlocking triangles that surround and radiate out from the central point Bindu, the junction point between the physical Brahmand and its unmanifest source. On August 10, 1990, a pilot named Bill Miller working in the Idaho Air National Guard observed a giant etching on a dried up lake bed wheel flying over it in the origin state of the United States. The massive formation was a quarter of a mile in width and was carved into the surface with a depth of 4 inches. In his earlier round over Oregon about half an hour before Bill Miller first noticed the glyph, there had been no trace of this formation. Neither had any of the other pilots of the Idaho National Guard who regularly perform training over this corridor observed any unusual activity. The etching appeared just that morning and no other pilot was likely to miss such a prominent formation in the process. The formation was oriented precisely in the north-south directions. The formation had a machine-like precision in its shape and clarity of lines. It is well known among specialists in the construction field that to drill deep inside the bedrock of a dried up lake, one has to have very precise drilling machines, which till now modern science does not seem to possess. In the present time, it is not possible to create such precise geometrical work on such a large scale, even with the help of sophisticated equipment. Although some people allege that crop circles are created by pranksters or artists, they forget that such extremely detailed and flawless geometric patterns cannot be created by humans, even with the latest technologies, and that too on a rigid bedrock of the lake. If indeed, as claimed, there were machines involved, then also it is an impossible task to have all the ends of the lotus crafted so perfectly with precise angles. The glyph was quickly identified as the ancient Hindu meditation device, the Sri Yantra, due to its geometrical properties. However, no one had a theory why a complex Hindu meditation yantra should appear in the wilderness of origin. The Sri Yantra design has a degree of complexity and a level of symmetry which makes it tough and tedious to recreate its design even on paper. Following an enormous replication of it suggested that it would cost $75,000 to $1 lakh at that time just to conduct a land survey, even before initiating such a huge project. Thus, there was a good deal of speculation that the formation on the lakebed was not man-made. Thereafter, the story became famous in the world and caught the attention of the media, the viewers and the researchers. Bapuji has explained that such wonderful and beautiful crop circles are created by higher dimensional souls who come from distant solar systems, galaxies or the universe. In order to prove their existence, they create such large and complex crop circles as we have already explained earlier. Such extraordinary patterns or designs cannot be made by ordinary human beings. These are supernatural and subtle forces who created them here on the earth of 5 elements. The divine souls with supernatural forces who create these crop circles have a body made of supreme elements, and they also possess the instruments of supreme elements which are not possessed by human beings on earth. Thank you, infinite supreme peace, to all the divine souls. This divine infinite supreme knowledge is given us by Bapuji through his divine vision, Third Eye. His main YouTube channel is bapujidashrathbhaipatel. Thank you. Param Shanti.